Coming up next, we've got Shaina and Brook. One is the co-founder, CEO of a personal care brand, again, completely bootstrapped, which I'm really excited to talk through. And the other is the CEO of Mason Interactive, agency that a lot of awesome brands work with, including Bask and Lather, but also Dagny Dover. And I'm forgetting the other one that I really enjoy, but we'll see it. Please welcome them up. All right, how's it going?
Good. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Your mic's all good?
Yes.
Super awesome.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. I'm assuming your agency is also bootstrapped?
Yeah, 15 years old, 30
Amazing.
employees, 55 clients, no outside investment.
Amazing, yeah. I'm a bootstrap guy myself. I haven't raised a dollar. And so I self-identify with y'all as, people who don't sleep at night. Awesome, let's get started. Do you want to give a brief overview of who you are, your company, why you started it, and let's see, your favorite cuisine to eat, since we're going into lunch next.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shaina. I am the CEO and founder of Bask and Lather. We are a line of high-quality hair care products that are catered towards helping men and women all over the world grow hair that they love. And prior to being CEO of the company, I was a licensed family nurse practitioner. And although the company is only 2 years old, our original product, our scalp stimulator, is 8 years old now. And it's my mother's concoction that she whipped up because my younger sister lost all of her hair to a ringworm, and she was completely bald, and doctors said that her hair would never grow back. My mom became desperate. She took her to all types of specialists. They did scalp analysis, all these different things, no signs of hair growth. And we looked and found efficacious natural ingredients that are proven to help restore hair, and that's birthed our first and best-selling product.
And your favorite cuisine?
I eat anything. I love food. I like chicken parm.
Okay, there we go, chicken farm.
Isn't that a great story? That's a really great story. I started Mason Interactive named after my 15-year-old son 15 years ago. I'd worked at ad tech startups, and I thought there was an opportunity to be, don't take this the wrong way, in my perception, more honest with clients and more forthright with clients and more transparent about pricing and things like that. So I started the agency. About half our clients are what we call emerging D2C brands. It's $5 to $40 million in revenue. We have clients that are hundreds of millions. We have clients that are startups, but the average person that walks in our door is between 5 and 40 million in revenue. So
Amazing. All right, let's start with, you've started this brand. It came from a real problem, something that you've been, maybe not directly, but your sister, right? She's been using it for 8+ years.
Her hair is down to her waist.
That's amazing. How have you, when you first saw that working to deciding to start the business, how did that process work?
So we never thought of making it a business. It was just something that so happened to have helped my sister. And during COVID, as a nurse practitioner, no patients were coming into the office, so I got deployed to work at the hospital. Acquired COVID myself, was seriously ill on a CPAP in the back of an ambulance. I got better, and then my hair started to shed and fall out. And I said, glad I'm still alive, but I was hysterical over my hair shedding. And at this time, no one knew about COVID hair. It wasn't until much later.
Mine was shedding too.
Yeah, so I said, look, we have these, by this time we had 2 products. So we had our scalp stimulator, which is applied to your scalp, and then we have the hair elixir, which is for retention. And I really started using both oils consistently, and my hair stopped shedding, stopped falling out, and was returning back to normal. So a few months later, I said, we really have to share these products with people. And I was just selling it on my personal Instagram to friends and family. Started with a $400 investment, December 2020, and a year later, we were at 7 figures in revenue from my living room and kitchen.
Wow.
which is so awesome, right? You started by selling a product that you knew worked, was efficacious, I think was the word you used, and you started with no it's just so awesome. It's such a great pleasure to work with someone like you. Sorry,
Oh no, you're good.
Clients come in and we have these case studies. Oh, you've worked with so-and-so for 10 years and taken them from zero to hundreds of millions. And we have those case studies. That's true, we've done that. But we do that in partnership with the client, right? We can't do that on our own. And we're complementary to your business. We help you. But you have this great foundation of social media that you've done completely without us, which is part of what makes it so successful, because you know exactly what your customer wants. You are laser focused on that, and you create content on that in a way that it really resonates with your audience. We have clients that come in and say, well, I don't actually have time to produce social media content. And you're laughing. That's farcical to you. That someone would say, I don't have time to produce it, right? Because this is the key of your business, is constantly pushing out content that matches your potential customer where they are. You are not selling to me.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
and your content is not for me.
Uh-huh.
And it's, no, but this is really important. Like your content has a personality to it that I think accurately reflects you, of what I know of you, and your brand, and you're meeting your customer where they are by giving them content and products they want. Right? And I just think that's so important, as opposed to our creative director at Mason talks about brands being optimized out of a personality. The way Google serves ads now, $5,000 suitcases and $20 oat milk are served the same way on Google Ads. It's not creative. It's all the personality has been zapped right out of it. And there's solutions to that. There's the trade desk. There's other kinds of buys. But one great solution is to own your brand and be the captain and the steward of it, and relentlessly push out content that speaks truly to who you are and who your customer is. And it's so much more valuable than like chasing ROI through more automation of. Anyway, I just think what you're doing is great.
Yeah, I think so the punchline I'm getting out of this interaction here is like, no matter how good the agency is that you work with, or how many accolades they have, how many brands they've worked with that inspire you as another founder, you have to put the work in for the basics as the founder or as that brand, right? You can't rely on another agency to just, because they did it for Dagny Dover, you can't just magically rely on them to make your business like that too without putting the work in. And I think that's something that gets lost in a lot of the agency and brand relationships, is somebody just expects out of the blue, this agency is going to blow up my business, but they forget that they have to put that work in.
I think we have a magic button, and
Yeah.
we talk about this a lot in the sales process. Like, if you're looking for an agency that has a magic button, don't hire us. And by the way, if you're talking to an agency that says they have a magic button where they've magically uncovered the right audiences in Meta,
Run.
they haven't.
Yeah.
Right? So
100%.
You have to be in it to do it.
Yeah. I'm curious. So I think like a lot of other businesses that started in the last couple years, there's been this this wave that has just come up as a almost like this infrastructure around short form content, or being able to rely on platforms like Shorts, Reels, and TikTok. Even just the shift in the way that content is served, right? It's now gone from a following to a for you on pretty much every platform. How has that benefited you, and how did you identify that is your, that is one of your nuggets that's going to get you to that 7-figure mark?
Yes. So when we hit our 7-figure mark back in 2021, we were about 8 months. It was August 2021. We started December 2020. It was easy. When we posted content on Instagram, it went right to the top of the feed. Now, as an 8-figure business, we're constantly having to be ahead of the algorithm and figure out how we're going to get the algorithm to favor our content to show it to our followers. And we don't always want to pay to show our content to our followers. So we do an amazing job on Instagram. Up until this January, I was running all of our social media accounts on my own and doing a great job at it. And now, one thing that we wanted to tackle is TikTok, because there's so much organic potential. I just couldn't figure it out. My 15-year-old who's in the crowd now runs Bask and Lather's TikTok account, and we have 7 million impressions organically in just less than 3 weeks. We're constantly going viral, and TikTok organically has been a profitable platform for us. So previously with Mason, we're killing it. Meta, Google, where acquisition and retargeting is profitable for us. TikTok was not, because we hadn't built that organic portion of TikTok, and now that we're doing that, Mason will be helping to amplify that on the paid side.
Interesting. I just pulled up your Instagram. You're almost at 500,000 followers, and I think one thing we hear a lot is, oh, you can't grow a following on these platforms anymore. Well, how'd you do it?
I spent really the first year of our business really figuring out what our customer wants to see. I know for me, I don't want to open Instagram, and every time I open Instagram, I'm being sold something, right? So we're constantly looking for ways to reach our audience in if it's not their hair, Is it, looking for different things culture-wise or day-to-day? Remember, these are everyday people. If their struggles I'm facing, their struggles they're facing too, how can we reach them in different ways and make Bask and Lather a safe space for them? So even if you look at our Instagram, it's not pretty. It will never be pretty. We don't want it to be pretty, but it's authentic, it's raw. For us, UGC is never where we pay people to make content. Because we spend so much time being authentic and relatable, our audience resonates with us and they give us tons of free UGC. Like every time we open Instagram, I have my social media team with me. We have every day customers sending in their before and afters, their unboxings, all of these things because we make it a safe space where they feel connected.
I think it's also the you is real, right? It's not some UGC creator on Twitter or a freelancer that you're paying to just read some lines, right? They're real customers that have really benefited, and they can help share their story of how their interaction with your product has changed their life.
Exactly.
How do you use, so like you have so many data points now because this brand creates so much organic content, and probably more so than the average brand. I'd say probably top 10%, I would imagine, in terms of a brand that creates organic content. How do you use those signals and the content that goes out there to inform what you guys are doing on the paid side?
I don't actually think I'm the best person to answer that because I'm not in the accounts. I would just say that holistically and big picture-wise, it's much better to work with a partner who is interested in meeting their customer where they are, as opposed to not doing that, which most people don't do. It just makes we think about marketing as a stool with at least 3 legs, and if one of the legs, the owned leg, is strong, we have a better chance of being successful with paid media, as opposed to clients who we also like, who come in and say, we have no followers. Can you grow us from $0 in revenue to $1 million? It's a much more challenging thing to do, and it doesn't work as well. So we can look at my account team can talk about the data points, but like it's just holistically, it's such a pleasure to work with someone who understands they have to grow their own brand and meet their customers where they are and be authentic around that, and not trying to be something they're not. I don't know who's looking up their Instagram feed on your phone right now. Check it out. Check out Bask and Lather on Instagram. It is so great.
Yeah.
It's so authentic. It's really great.
What are some like bullet points, if you could summarize for other brands that are here, in terms of, if we give the context of bootstrapped, strapped for time, strapped for cash?
Yeah.
What's advice you would give?
So here's the thing. We have a lot of skincare clients for whatever reason. My sister owns a skincare brand, and she's not our client, but we have a lot of skincare clients, and someone came to us and said, it's been 6 months that I've owned this business, and it hasn't taken off yet, and what's your advice? And what we did is we just looked at, and this is so obvious, we looked at who has the most followers times who posts the most times per day, or what the frequency was, and cross-referenced that by revenue, and it's just so obvious. Across all of our skincare clients, and we have like 6 or 7 of them, it's the one who posts most frequently has the most revenue, and the one who posts the second most frequently has the second most revenue. Like it's a very strong correlation. I'm not sure there's a causality there, right? It's probably a self-edifying behavior because it's working well, so we want to post more. I'm not saying the posting is what makes them successful, but it's a very clear line. The people who post more make more money, and so it's sort of an easy thing to forget because people will say, and we'll say in our own creative work, I don't think this is ready to, we're approaching a guitar company in the United States right now, and we're just some spec creative work for them to try to get their interest, and we're sitting around hemming and hawing about whether the creative is right yet, and should we re-edit the last slide, and I'm stuck in my own head. We should just get out of it and send it already, right? I'm not taking my own advice, and clients that don't get stuck in their own heads and just keep producing the work and doing the work, and left foot, right foot, moving forward, are always more successful than clients that are saying, let's pause for 4 months and think about our strategy. I mean, you have this great story about, and I'm going to get this wrong a little bit, but you have this story about the bottles when you first started, which
They
I think
had no labels.
I have so many clients who would kill to have her business that would never have gotten started because she didn't have labels for the product, and they would have hired a branding agency and spent $70,000 on a logo identity kit before they put the sticker on the product, and she's eating their lunch. Right? I just think it's so instructive. And I don't know that would work for every product in every industry, but it worked for you, and I just think it's so instructive that if you get out of your own way and put the product out there and you're true to who you are and you deal with your clients in a real way, you're more likely to be more successful. I'm not saying we shouldn't think about brand positioning. I think about it all the time. But you need to get out there and get the sales moving. I get the story right? You had no labels at all?
None.
Amazing. So Mason works mainly with you guys on paid media. You handle, and your team handles the owned media. Let's talk about earned media a little bit. If I Google Bask and Lather, there's tons of videos on the internet. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, press. How does earned fit into this strategy as you guys are building this brand?
Yeah, so really the foundation of our business is earned media. So before we even added on the paid side of things, we had a very strong pixel. So our ads agency was able to hit the ground running with a profitable ROI. So we spent a year building up a SMS list of over 300,000 people in almost our first year. We spent time building up our text message list, and although text has less subscribers, it converts much better. We spent time really finding different ways to speak to our audiences on all of the different platforms. That way, if as things change, like, the new iOS or meta changes or anything happens, we still have a way to be a profitable and thriving company.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I feel like SMS always has lesser subscribers, but the dollars per subscriber is significantly higher. How have you taken your loyal customers and sort of, I imagine there's a tight community around your brand and around the product, especially because of how much emotion is probably tied to somebody's change in their hair or, being able to grow a full head of hair. How has your existing customer base helped you build a either referral network or evangelists, or how do you think about leveraging existing customers to bring new people into the community?
Yeah, so again, that goes back to making our company a safe space for people to talk about their hair loss. So many people, you wouldn't even think, they could even be covering it up. It looks like they have a beautiful head of hair and they are suffering with issues. We make it a safe space for them to talk to us. DMs, we receive thousands of DMs a week. We answer every single one, whether that's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We answer all of them. Those customers will buy. So we really make ourselves readily available to the customers. And we always say, stay in touch. They write us, they come back, they send us their before and afters. Now we're growing out our affiliate program. And I love affiliate program more than I like dealing with influencers, because they only earn if they generate sales for you. And they're like killing it.
Right.
So definitely leverage your customers. Relationship building is so important for long-term success. They're our biggest advocates.
It sounds like as you're talking, the punchline is like, you just gotta fucking hustle.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Start where
There's
you're
no
at,
magical
like,
software or magical agency that'll do it. You just gotta grind, and you gotta do it, and you gotta answer every comment and every DM, and you gotta keep doing it.
Exactly. And when you do all of those things, you can be super successful in paid advertising because you built a strong foundation. When Mason is running our ads and people are like, has anyone tried this? Our customers will go under there like, oh yeah, I tried this, I love it, my whole family's using it, they're advocating for us.
Yeah.
So the two have to coexist, and you really have to have the strong earned media basis to really be super, super successful on the paid side. And you need to have a good partner. I really feel like Mason, sometimes it's like Black Friday, I'm like, I feel like they work for me. Like,
yeah.
They are truly, truly invested in making sure that we're successful and profitably, and it makes such a difference.
How has working with Mason helped your team internally, rather than just, obviously the numbers that they drive seem to be amazing, but what are some of the other things that your team has benefited from working with Mason, whether it's around insights or analytics or learnings, things like that?
I'm not a numbers person. If I look back, from the beginning to now, and I'm like, how did I grow this business to 8 figures profitably, grow a staff, do all of these things when I never have a budget for anything? The only place we have a budget is Mason gives me a budget because it's meeting our goals.
Yeah.
We don't have budgets. We have strategies, but it's not that I sat down and wrote a playbook. I figure out what works and I keep replicating that. So really, them helping me to analyze data, look at data, and they give us great ideas too, because we've been working with them for quite a while now. They have a good understanding of the brand, and they're able to also contribute ideas to me in other areas outside of paid media.
Right. Brooke, it sounds like you guys are more of a partner versus an agency high up on some building floor. Could you talk a little bit about, talk a little bit about how you think about working with brands, because it's a very different philosophy than some of the agencies that are 300 people agencies
Yeah,
and they just
probably.
run ads.
Probably. Also, the founder is still involved at our agency, and I think that matters. That was very kind of you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Sincerely, we always say during the sales process that we're interested in 10-year partnerships. We are not interested in getting a new client today. I don't actually care how much money I make from you today. I'm much more interested in growing and working with someone over the course of a decade. And we have many clients we've had for more than a decade. So that's sort of my philosophy about it. But thank you again. That was very nice.
Awesome. And I guess before we close, Brooke, I'm curious from your perspective, any tips for founders from your standpoint working with these brands? And Shaina, from your standpoint, what can somebody do today that would help them drive revenue, learn more about their customers, sell more product, understand how to innovate? Brooke, you want to go first?
Yeah. The clients that are most successful in our portfolio over the last 15 years are the clients that do not simultaneously expect ROAS growth and revenue growth. They might expect both of those things to grow over the course of a year or a cycle or a month or a week. But there are times in your marketing cycle where you want to overinvest in getting new customers, which may not be profitable, so that you can harvest revenue from them when seasonality demands it around holiday. So no one here that Brooke said you can't be growing and profitable, right? But you don't do it at the exact same time. Use a weightlifting metaphor, you don't bulk up and lean out at the same time, right? So you have to look at things. The clients that are most successful are the ones who look at their revenue and their profit and growing ROAS and growing top-line revenue over a duration. That could be a year, it could be a month, it could be a season, and not by hour. The people that look at those things by hour are not successful. They're caught up in the wrong metrics. That's sort of nasty for me to say, but there.
Yes. For me, I'm really going to say to use what you have available to you. Don't look to make everything perfect, because you're going to make things perfect and it's going to change again in 3 to 6 months anyway. So if I had been so focused on having those pretty labels or having the perfect welcome flow or all of these perfect things, we wouldn't be where we are today. I literally walk fearlessly. I make decisions, like even when I was interviewing all of these agencies, because I was running my own ads in the beginning. I'm like, all right, it's that time, really going with my gut and who I think is going to be the best, and making decisions on what I think is going to be the best. But don't be scared. You can't be fearful. You literally just have to take the step. You'll never know how far you can get if you try to make everything perfect the first go around.
Amazing. Well, thank you both. This was awesome. That was awesome. All right. Coming up next, we've got lunch. And then I believe we've got some roundtables, and we will be back here right around 2 o'clock-ish. So we'll see you soon. And again, if you want a landing page, come find me. I'll pitch you. It's whatever.